My name is Daryl Dean Malden. I live in Sturgis, South Dakota right now, and originally from Selma, California. Been here for 19 years, I guess, working for Michael Ballard, the Tennessee hustler. I've been slinging paint for him for 19 years. And
Diener is a smooth guy. It looks like he's straight out of the 50s movie or something, right? He's Mr. Cool. And but Dean's been with me from, I guess, Dave, pretty much 23 years now. I mean, he's been painting and striping stuff for us for ever since I can remember at the old bar.
a friend of mine, he asked me one day, he says, "Are you still slinging paint for the Tennessee Hustler?" And I said, "I like that." I said, "I'm going to use that." And then so I told Michael, and he goes, "I like that." So, yeah, he is the hustler. I started when I was 21. I met Neil Averill, a famous pinstriper from Fresno, California. He's my master, and I met him. And we built a Bucket T Roadster in high school from our senior year to from our freshman year to our senior year. We went to a bar in Fresno, and he goes, "Hey, there's Neil Averill." I said, "Well, introduce me." And right away, he says, "You remind me so much of my best friend who just died 2 weeks ago." And he'd tell me, come up to his shop on Friday and we'll drink beer and stuff. And I always asked him, I said, "Let me go to work for you." He said, "I have a helper." And then he came down to my house and seen some birds I'd painted on grape trays. And he says, "You ought to be pinstriping."
So he grew up in California with some of the famous painters and pinstripe guys back in the day that taught him everything. He's one of them guys that, like, back in the day in the 60s and 70s, that would probably go and paint on the front glass of a hardware store where they before they got wraps or vinyl letters, he was the guy that would he could do all of that stuff, Dean's in his 70s now, and but he's still limping around and doing stuff for me, and I love the guy to death, and he's part of the family. He's been with us 20-something years up here,
Well, Neil, he called me up and he said, "You still want to go to work for me?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "I'll be right up." And I was actually doing interior design work. I had 3 guys tearing down barns for me, and I was doing design work with barnwood. And anyway, I told them 3 guys, "This is your guys' business." I said, "I'm going to learn to pinstripe, custom paint."
So I wanted to do something special because you got the place that's got all the Cadillacs buried in the ground. It's real famous. I thought, what can I do? What can I do? What can I be? And I've sat out here and a lot of times late at night, I'm out here by myself and I'm trying to figure out what's cool. What can I do? And it hit me, I should build these big, gigantic statues, fabricate this stuff that's over the top, and dedicate to the bike builders that were inspiration to so many different people in the industry.
We did, a few years back, we did the Evel Knievel sculpture, which is out front. He's actually the smallest sculpture we've done. If I remember right, he's about 20 feet long, 15 feet tall, on his motorcycle with a cape and helmet, full everything. Try to get as much detail in as we can, so it's easier to recognize and who they are and what they do and who they were to the motorcycle industry.
Will and David are the 2 sculpture guys that come here every summer. They work for me all throughout the summer, fabricating everything. And Will's had his hand on everything that you see, and David too, out here. But Will's really talented at faces and being able to duplicate something from a photograph and make it 100 times bigger than what size and wise that stuff, and scaling it, because it really takes some talent to do that.
Last year was the anniversary of the Sturgis Rally, so we did a tribute to Pappy Hoyle, who is one of the founders of the rally itself. So we built about 25, 30 foot long motorcycle with a Pappy Hoyle sculpture up on top of it, and he's gonna be down at the end of the parking lot heading out towards the road. So it'd be one of the first sculptures you see when you come over the top of the hill. Last year I built a really cool burnout pit for Michael. Michael came to me and had this vision of just having this really huge like burnout pit, something he's never seen before, nobody ever thought of. So we collaborated and came up with this really big, huge, I think it was 25 feet tall, giant skull for the burnout pit. It did great all last year. Everybody loved it. But right at the end of rally there, about 2-3 days after rally had ended, we had a really bad storm and had a small tornado, and it picked it up and threw it about 30 feet and slammed it in one of the bridges. So now with this year, we get to come back and fix it up and put it back again. If this is your vacation, this is where you want to come. We're going to try to make it the best. So I'm hoping to get everything done on a timely manner and hope that everybody gets to see and enjoy, the stuff that we get to make. And, Michael tries really, really hard to make sure everybody that shows up has a good time.